everyone, today's tutorial has a Gothic influence and a generous dose of glam. If you struggle with wing liner, you are in luck. I have a super easy alternative which is quite edgy and unexpected. Let's begin. Starting with the face today, I'm applying a light layer of foundation over the central portions of the face. Now, if you are prone to flushing, like I am, tone it down as best you can because a dark purple lip will highlight any of that surface redness. The crevice of the nose, around the mouth, on the jawline, typically these are the areas where people tend to exhibit redness. Same goes for the under eye. Knock back any purple discoloration with your favorite concealer to achieve a very even canvas. I'm using the Clarins Instant Light, which might be my new favorite concealer. It's a very bold statement. I'm so picky about concealer. This one offers a decent coverage and it doesn't enhance any crepiness or fine lines under the eyes. I'm very impressed so far. Perhaps my only critique, I find that I have to set it with powder almost immediately because it can crease, but I would always set it with powder, so no big deal. I'm using a second concealer, the Diorskin Nude, to blur some uneven texture on my forehead. I mentioned this product in my 2014 favorites, which I will link on the screen. Again, this is all about the base. Dark lipsticks I find are far more wearable when we've concealed any distracting blemishes or discoloration. Setting the entire face with a light dusting of translucent powder. This is essential if you plan to use a powder blush or contour, otherwise they tend to adhere unevenly. Prime the eyes, preferably with a product that provides some coverage. I have a lot of purple veins on my eyelid, many people do, and that doesn't pair so well with vampy lips, I think. Brow-wise, assume some creative license and do whatever you want. I have a soft spot for bold brows combined with dark lips, so that's what I'm gonna do. Using a brow powder and a damp brush to build some intensity and elongate my wimpy tails. Textured brows always and forever. Gimme Brow by Benefit is a great tinted gel for creating comb overs if you have drawn on brow where there is none. For eyeshadow, I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Vintage Vamp palette, which is a collection of shades in the wine and Bordeaux family, starting with the pale pink color over the entire mobile lid. I've dampened my brush here to really amp up that reflect. This is not a smoky eye, and I want to maintain an element of lightness in what can be quite a dark look. Blend the pale pink around the inner tear duct as a highlight and also along the lower lash line. Next, take a red and brown eyeshadow on a fluffy crease brush and softly contour the socket. Now, while I'm buffing there, let me give you a quick review of the Charlotte Tilbury Vintage Vamp palette. Now, if you like Bordeaux shades on the eyes, you and I will agree that this is a gorgeous color story. The shades are moderately pigmented, but they can be built up to a stronger opacity and they blend beautifully. I only wish that there was a proper matte thrown into the mix to make this palette a little bit more versatile. Even the deeper shades have some low-level shimmer, I'd call them satins. I'm also a little bit underwhelmed by the glitter pan. I love the color, but it requires a damp brush to achieve any real impact. But critiques aside, I really do like this palette overall. Using a small brush and the deepest wine eyeshadow, shade the outer half of the lower lash line. Now, following that same angle, start to drag the color upwards to form a wing. This is a really clever placement because it elongates the eye like winged liner, but it's much easier and much quicker. You could incorporate this technique into your daily makeup by using a neutral shadow. Do try that out and report back. Next, I'm taking a blush in a similar color family and dusting over the entire crease area. Now, if I'm honest, I don't know why I did this, but I like the effect. It's a little more vibrant and diffused. Here is a closer look at that soft wing we've created. The heavier lash line is really doing it for me. It's very on trend right now. Tight line the upper lash line with a black pencil to add a little bit more definition and intensity at the lash bed. Apply a bunch of individual false lashes. I am scraping the bottom of the barrel here. I seem to go through these things like water, and I really need to replenish. You could use a strip lash here, but individuals I think always look more random and undone. Perfect is so overrated. Quickly hit the upper lashes with some mascara, focusing on the root of the lash. I also loaded the mascara on the lower lashes to balance out all that volume going on above. Onto the fun part, our very vampy lip. Line the lips with a deep pencil. I'm partial to MAC Night Moth because it's dark, but it's still quite vibrant. Now, like many others, my top lip is significantly thinner than my bottom, so I'm overdrawing slightly to give the illusion that they're more even. Dark lips can be quite unforgiving that way, so if you need to overdraw a little bit, go right ahead. Topping with a dark purpled lipstick. This shade is Vulgar by NARS. Love this shade, we go way back. This one is suitable for fair to medium skin tones, but if you have a deeper skin tone, the Brighten Vamps with a reddened base are very flattering. I've chosen a matte lipstick, but if your lips are on the thinner side, you can go for something with a bit of a sheen. It tends to be less stark and more forgiving. The lip line is looking a bit untidy for my liking, so I'm carving out the edges with a concealer pencil. This can be sharpened so you can achieve a lot of precision. Blend carefully with a concealer brush. If you know me, I'm quite lazy and I tend to avoid all these extra steps. I think it's a real nuisance, but in this case, it's a massive improvement. I'm then sharpening the bone structure with an ashy contour powder. I imagine that most of you would probably add a bit of blush here, but I was going for that modern goth feel, so I skipped blush altogether. If you do want a little blush, let the undertone of your lip color guide you. For example, my lip is cool, so I would pair this with a cooler blush. But if your lip is more of a brown vamp, then you can go for a warmer blush. I feel as though this edgy makeup calls for an edgy hairdo, so I went for a faux mohawk. I followed a tutorial by Kayley actually, here on YouTube, and frankly, she explains it better than I ever could, so I'll link her tutorial on the screen and also in the description box. That's the final look. Something a little bit different. I hope that you are all feeling a little bit inspired. I'm taking video requests, FYI, so leave all your suggestions in the comment section. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Bye bye.